African Union Communications, Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals, intelligence, and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of February 7, 2026. Over the past 24 hours, in response to terrorist attacks by the Kyiv regime on civilian infrastructure facilities in Russia, the armed forces of the Russian Federation launched a massive strike with high-precision long-range sea and air-based weapons, including Kinzhal aeroballistic hypersonic missiles, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles, against energy and transport infrastructure facilities used in the interests of the Ukrainian armed forces, enterprises of the Ukrainian military-industrial complex that fulfill orders for the production of attack unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as their storage and launch preparation sites at military airfields. The objectives of the strike have been achieved. All designated targets have been hit. Units of the North Group of Forces, as a result of decisive actions, established control over the settlement of Chugunovka in the Kharkiv region. Formations of a mechanized brigade, 2 motorized infantry brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Okrimovka, Kotovka, Bely Kolodez, and Malaya Volcha in the Kharkiv region. In the Sumy region, units of a mechanized brigade, an airmobile brigade, an assault regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and a territorial defense brigade were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Khotin, Malaya Rybitsa, Miropoli, and Olshanka in the Sumy region. The losses of the Ukrainian armed forces amounted to over 210 servicemen, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 10 vehicles, and 5 pieces of field artillery. An ammunition depot and 4 materiel depots were destroyed. Units of the West Group of Forces occupied more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted defeat on the manpower and equipment of 4 mechanized 1 airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a territorial defense brigade, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Monakinovka, Kovalevka, Kurochkino in the Kharkiv region, and Krasny Liman in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 180 servicemen, 17 vehicles, 2 artillery pieces, and 5 ammunition depots. Units of the Southern Group of Forces improved their position along the front line. They inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized, 1 motorized infantry, 1 assault brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, Privoli, Reznikovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian Armed Forces amounted to up to 150 servicemen, a tank, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 13 vehicles, and 3 field artillery pieces. An electronic warfare station, an ammunition depot, and 2 materiel depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Forces occupied more advantageous lines and positions. Russian forces inflicted defeat on the personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized, 2 Ranger, 1 airborne assault brigade, 2 assault regiments of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a Marine brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements of Grishino, Belitskoye, Novoalexandrovka, Kucherov Yar, and Svetloye in the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian armed formations amounted to over 280 servicemen, a tank, 6 armored fighting vehicles, 12 vehicles, a Grad multiple launch rocket system combat vehicle, and 3 field artillery pieces. Units of the East Group of Forces advanced deep into the enemy's defenses. They inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized, 2 assault, 2 airborne assault brigades, and 4 assault regiments of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the areas of the settlements of Lesnoy, Samoilovka, Boykovo, Vozdvijevka, Tsvetkovoye in the Zaporozhye region, and Komunarovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The enemy lost up to 435 servicemen, 6 armored fighting vehicles, 11 vehicles, and 2 artillery pieces. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted defeat on the personnel and equipment of a mechanized and a mountain assault brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the areas of the settlements of Magdalinovka and Veselyanka in the Zaporozhye region. Up to 50 servicemen of the Ukrainian Armed Forces were destroyed, as well as an armored fighting vehicle and 6 vehicles. Operational tactical aviation strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the groups of forces of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, inflicted damage on temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 158 areas. Air defense systems shot down one guided aerial bomb and 168 unmanned aerial vehicles of the aircraft type. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 670 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 112,882 unmanned aerial vehicles, 650 anti-aircraft missile systems, 27,542 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,660 multiple launch rocket systems, 33,133 field artillery pieces and mortars, 53,155 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.